Now let's take a look at Learning Curve for America's History. You will find Learning Curve within your LaunchPad. There is a Learning Curve activity for every chapter within America's history. To access it, simply expand the chapter you wish to study and scroll down to Learning Curve. Click on it to open, and the Learning Curve home screen will appear. Learning Curve is adaptive quizzing software, so each of your students will receive a different number of questions depending on their ability. All students will start out with easier questions. Then, depending on how long it takes to answer them and how many they get correct, they will gradually become harder and harder. So all of your students will be challenged when using Learning Curve. We recommend a target score of 600 points. Each of your students will get a different number of questions depending on how well they do. If you'd like them to get more questions, you can change the target score to be a little bit higher, and if you'd like them to get less questions, you can change the target score to be lower. Once they reach that target score, they will receive full credit. Let's preview Learning Curve as a student to see what the questions look like. Once they receive a question, your students have a few different options on how to answer it. They can give up and select Show Me the answer. They can get a hint, which will eliminate one of the distractors. If they'd like to refresh their memory and read more, the ebook is linked right here. Therefore, they can click here to bring up the ebook and read to find the answer to the question. Let's take a look at some sample results so you can see what your students' results will look like. You will see two different types of results from your students. You will see a breakdown for each student to show you what their activity score is and how many questions they've received, and whether or not they've received the activity. We also provide you with a class topic breakdown, so you can see how your students did on each section of America's history. This way you'll know what to review in class with your students. For example, in this circumstance, I would recommend reviewing the section of America's history, exploration, and conquest. Now that we have taken a look at Learning Curve, we'll move on to summative quizzing. To get back to summative quizzing, simply click the Home button. There is a summative quiz or end of chapter test for each chapter of America's history. All of the summative quizzes will be hidden from your students. Let's open the summative quiz so you can see how it works. As a default, the summative quiz will have 12 multiple choice questions, each worth 1 point. However, you have the option to edit the questions or add more of your own. Click Edit Questions to bring up the question bank. On the left side of the screen, you can see all of the question banks within America's history. We provide you with multiple question types for each chapter and section of the book, including multiple choice questions, essay questions, map activity questions, source-based questions, secondary source-based questions, and short answer questions. You can browse the different types of questions on the left. To add a question, you simply grab the question and drop it into your test. We also give you the ability to create questions by clicking Create here. This will bring up a question editor on the right side of the screen. We have different formats, including multiple choice, short answer, essay, matching, multiple answer, and other types of questions. You simply need to type in the question editor and add answers. Then select the correct answer and hit Save, and it will flow into your test. Once you're done adding questions to your test, you can click on Settings and change how your students see it. You can set a time limit, change the delivery of the questions, randomize the question order, and select how you want them to see the answers. On the bottom is where you can change the visibility. As I said earlier, all of the summative quizzes are hidden from your students. You can make them visible, or you can hide them from your students until the date of the test. Your students can take the quiz online through LaunchPad, or you can print the quiz out. There will be two versions of the printable quiz, a student version with just the questions and the instructor version with the answers marked. You are now ready to use Learning Curve and summative quizzing for your students.